Our marriage counselor pushed us toward divorce, and I found out that she wanted my husband the whole time. She lasted 5 months. The problem started around year 6. Troy got promoted at work and started coming home later and being more tired and more distracted. I was working full-time too and handling most of the house, and I started to feel like I was married to someone who lived in the same building as me, but existed in a completely different world. We fought about stupid things. Who forgot to pay the water bill? Why wasn't the lawn mowed? Whether we were going to his mother's house for Easter or mine, none of it was serious enough to break us, but it was constant enough to wear us down. I told Troy I thought we should try counseling. He resisted at first and said we could fix it ourselves. I said we'd been trying to fix it ourselves for 2 years, and it wasn't working. He finally agreed. We found a woman named Clara through our insurance network. She had an office in a professional building near the freeway, and her bio said she had been practicing for 12 years with a focus on marriage and family therapy. Our first appointment was on a Thursday evening after work. Clara asked us to each describe what we thought the main issue was. I said I felt like we had stopped being a team. Troy said he felt like I expected too much from him and that he couldn't be everything I needed. Clara nodded and scribbled something on her notepad and said those were very different perspectives. I left that session feeling okay. Not great, but okay. The second session, Clara spent most of the time asking Troy about his childhood. She wanted to know about his parents' marriage and whether he had seen healthy partnership modeled for him growing up. Troy opened up about his dad leaving when he was young and how his mom raised him and his sister alone. Clara kept leaning toward him and saying things like, "That must have been really formative for you." She barely asked me anything. When I tried to connect what Troy was saying to our marriage, she redirected and said we'd get to that. We never got to it. The third session, she told us she had been thinking about our dynamic and that she wanted to share something. She said in her professional assessment we had fundamentally different attachment styles and that the gap between us was not something counseling could close. She said she would recommend an amicable separation before things got worse. I looked at Troy. He looked at his hands. I said we've been here 3 times. She said sometimes it only takes a few sessions to see the full picture. I said you haven't even asked me about my childhood or my perspective on half the things Troy brought up. She said she had heard enough from both of us to form a clear understanding. I felt like I had been punched. I told Troy on the drive home that something about this felt off. He said maybe she was right. I said 3 sessions, Troy. He said some things don't need more time to figure out. That sentence sounded rehearsed, like he had heard it somewhere before and was just repeating it. We separated 4 weeks later. Troy moved to an apartment across town and I stayed in the house. The divorce moved fast because we didn't have kids and the assets were straightforward. I was sad and angry and confused all at once, and I didn't understand how we went from trying to fix things to being done in less than 2 months. My friend Sasha was the one who figured it out. Sasha worked at a restaurant downtown, and about 7 weeks after Troy and I split, she called me and said she just seated Troy at a table with a woman and they were holding hands. I asked what the woman looked like. Sasha described her. I knew immediately. I asked if the woman had a brown leather bag with a gold clasp. Sasha said yes. That was Clara's bag. She carried it into every session. I hung up and didn't move for about an hour. Then I did something I probably shouldn't have, but I don't regret. I called Troy's mother. I had always been close with her, even when things between Troy and me were bad. She picked up and I told her everything. I told her about the counseling, about how Clara shut it down after 3.
I will upload the short video of the sequel to the story to my TikTok page. The download link is on my homepage. After successfully downloading, you can search for PM9992.